I was wrong, but not entirely. In my last video, I argued that Renoir's Chroma was black, a deliberate opposite to Aline's white, life and death personified. I still stand by the duality, but I no longer believe Renoir to have black Chroma. My new position? He doesn't have one. If anything, that absence is what truly contrasts Aline. Before diving into the new theory, let's quickly recap my old one. Petals are scattered everywhere in this game, but their colours mean something. Gold marks painters either from their brush or their own gamage. White is Aline, red is Verso, blue Alicia, yellow Clair. Based on that, I first thought the logical conclusion is that Renoir must be black. But a closer review shows that what looks like black petals is just shading or inky chroma, not black petals in their own right. Renoir's greatest distinction is he doesn't have a colour, which in a way is a definition of black. To clarify, I'm not saying Renoir doesn't have red chroma, he obviously does. We see him surrounded by it when transforming between Curator and Daddy mode, and furthermore, the leaves in Lumiere turn from white to red with his presence. But red doesn't belong to him in the way white does to Aline. Red appears in gamages when Renoir isn't present, which makes it equally impossible for red to be either solely representing Renoir or gamaging. Having two possible meanings is more obscure than Clair and confuses interpretations. My conclusion to avoid this confliction was that red belongs to Verso, the soul of the canvas that all organic beings are made of. So why did I once think Renoir was black? Enemies like Clair and Obscur to me are mirrors of Aline and Renoir. Their powers align perfectly with the Descendre parents, with Clair protecting and Obscur enraging, which made the black-white symmetry tempting. There's also a small but intriguing detail in the floral arrangements during the prologue's gamage. Amongst the red and white flowers around the garlands worn by the soon-to-be departed, you can spot tiny black blooms. These subtly connect life and death, Aline, Verso, and Renoir. And then there are Renoir's drafts. His nevrons are black, inky, incomplete with glowing red cores, very much like red is reflecting the soul or life force of the nevrons. And it's not like we see that black with a red core anywhere else in the game. It all suggests black, but the critical detail remains. Renoir's own paintings never produce black petals. So how can Renoir not have a colour? He's drenched in red like a French beauty, yet the petals rarely come from his own actions. Even when you confront him after reading Diaries of a Giga Chad and he sends us to the Shadow Realm, some red petals do appear, but it's mostly black inky chroma. I would argue that the red petals we see here are likely just disturbed from the environment and not part of the transition itself. Also, when he initiates the destruction of Lumiere, there are no petals at all when the nevrons are being created, just chroma and lightning. So aside from his wardrobe changes, there is only one other instance where the game suggests he paints a person: our moonlight sword-wielding Simon. After defeating Simon, a small amount of red petals coming from him emanate from his head, reflecting Renoir's efforts to paint over him, corrupting his mind. How come then I don't acknowledge him as Red Noir? Well, remember the colour we're supposed to see when something is painted? It's absent. When he transforms, there's no gold chroma. Maybe changing clothes doesn't require it, we have no other instance to compare it to. But one critical, unarguable moment is when he gamages, he doesn't gamage as gold, but as red. Aline and Maëlle gamage as gold, so it's not a specific character trait belonging to either one of them, and even if he is letting Maëlle gamage him, he should still be gold, as the paintress is when Maëlle gamages her. We only see those that cannot exist outside of the canvas to gamage as red, but we definitely know Renoir can exist outside the canvas, so why is he different? maybe he wasn't always a painter. One thing is certain, Renoir loves painting, probably as much as he loves his family. It's his coping mechanism, his way of life, a way to find calm within the chaos. A man of parables, he douses himself in gold. He's the only family member to wear it, and like his eldest, he is streaked in it. Even Aline, who's been in the painting longer, remains streak-free, like a blank canvas. Perhaps that cleanliness comes with experience? Or maybe just not sleeping on the floor? This drowning in colour is something we see in his atelier. His blinds are red as well as red petals everywhere. It's almost as if he is blinded by grief for his son. Renoir lived in a cave of gold for over 6 decades. He wears gold like a high-vis vest, signalling to everyone that he is a painter, even if he didn't start that way. Gold becomes his identity. An overcompensating declaration no one can miss. Ever wonder why Renoir is bold in Curator mode? Stick with me on this, it is relevant, I promise. Hair seems to be reflective of power in the canvas. Maëlle's hair becomes white when she re-enters the canvas instead of red, despite Alicia having red hair as well. However, watch her hair as she gathers all the impure chroma. It's darkened. Her hair has darkened because of the amount of chroma she now has power over. Renoir de Sandra's hair demonstrates this further. During the funeral, his hair is black, but in the canvas, it's lighter, more ashy, showing his power over chroma as Aline's wanes. Now, I don't think this strictly applies to portrait forms, but it does give us context to the importance of hair and power in the canvas. Aline and Renoir painted each other's portraits, so what we see is how they see each other. The holes where their hearts are likely reflective of how heartless they think the other is being, but this symbolism could also be extending to their hair. Renoir paints Aline's hair in the style of a brush, and is white, like the colour of her chroma. Unfortunately for Renoir, Aline's a little bit more vindictive. After all, she essentially brands painted Alicia with a mistake that occurred before she even existed. The curator's hair may be missing due to him not being a natural painter, and Aline wants to remind him of that. We know Aline taught Renoir, but what if she literally taught him from scratch? Did he have innate talent that could translate from another art like writing, or was he just starting with nothing at all? Aline saw his love for painting and took it from there as they fell in love. So far there's no tangible evidence on this. But there is one thing left to try and answer. Why red petals? My best explanation? Renoir borrows from the canvas itself. As a non-native painter, he needs a stand-in instead of his own colour. Where red represents the soul of the canvas, he's using its lifeblood as his own. This angle means that red chroma makes sense in all instances. Lumerians are made from it, and Renoir can paint with it, all contiguous with the absence of gold chroma for Renoir. Forced to exist using his dead son's soul whilst on a quest to destroy that very thing in order to save his family. He gamages as red like the rest of Aline's creations. It's tragic, but fitting. Great art is both a window and a mirror. The duality of life and death still stands. Renoir just doesn't contrast Aline, he opposes her entirely. In philosophy and intentions, now realised by this dichotomy of colour and colourless. Whether or not this ties into the war with the writers is hard to say. Alicia's quest to resolve tensions may stem from her own desire to be a writer. She finds peace in it just as Verso finds peace in music. Could Renoir have defected and triggered the war? There also looks to be more than one way to create life. Axons and Nevrons die differently to other life forms, bursting into 10 million fireflies. Not only this, but they appear to be created differently in the instances we see it, completely absent of petals. Therefore, their creation could reveal secrets about other substances in the canvas and how they function. I'll explore this further, where we'll examine these differences and hopefully illuminate our understanding of the canvas in the future. As always, it is just a theory and still malleable. I would really love to hear your perspectives. Thank you for watching, and
Please survive!